strivers and thrivers of narcissistic abuse. I'm just laying here thinking about the agenda of the narcissist since I've been with one. Except my narcissist wasn't like the same narcissist as in meeting him, living with him, marrying him, you know. Mine was just a phone narcissist. And basically, my phone narcissist found me on social media. And he began to love bomb me. But before the love bombing came, let me rewind it just a little bit. He didn't just automatically love bomb me. He actually found out that I was a Christian, and so he started to act as if he was a Christian, and also started to like quote verses from the Bible and stuff like that to me. And then we would, try to fellowship with each other by reading the Bible, you know, over the internet through private messaging. And we would, talk through voice chat and private messaging, and we would discuss the Bible. First he asked me about pretty much a briefing about my life story. A briefing, but before that, right after that, we would start discussing the Bible. And like I said, he was, acting like he was a Christian, and he would quote scripture to me, and I quote scripture to him, and we would discuss the Bible. And he actually made me think he was a Christian, because he knew the Bible so well. And I got tired of sitting at my desk, and I was just like, my back is starting to hurt from sitting at this desk, that maybe I should just give you my phone number. And so I did, and he called me, and we began discussing the Bible over the phone. And more than that even, well, not more than that, but we did more than that. As in, I told him pretty much my life story and about my ex-boyfriend and what happened with that situation. And so he knew I was really lonely, and so we would talk on the phone like every single day. It first started out like 1 hour once a week, then 2 hours twice a week, and then 3 hours 3 times a week, and then 4 hours 4 times a week, and then 5 hours 5 times a week, and then 6 hours 6 times a week, and then 7 hours 7 times a week. And then, after that, it would be 2 hours. After months had passed, it would be 2 hours on one day. And the next day, 2 hours. And then the third day, 2 hours. And then the fourth day, 2 hours. And the fifth day, 2 hours. And then the sixth day, 2 hours. And then the seventh day, 2 hours. And then the next week, it'd be 3 hours a day for 7 days. And the next day, it would be 4 hours for 7 days. We just kept talking to each other. And then he started to love bomb me. Talking like sugar pie, honey bun, sweet cheeks, sweet cakes, baby doll. Oh, sweetie feet. He used to call me sweetie feet, because he said he liked my feet. He says he loves feet. which I know is a complete lie, but that's what he said. Someone with an ego as big as his would not like feet. Because everything under the feet is dirty, right? When you walk on the dirt, you get dirt on your feet. You walk on cockroaches sometimes. You walk on dog poop sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So he says he likes my feet. And I know that was a lie. Um, but we continued to talk, and, um, you know, he would still love bomb me. Sugar pie, honey bun, sweet cake, sweet cheeks, baby doll, stuff like that. He had so many love bombing pet names, is what I like to call them, pet names, because that's pretty much all they are. You know, he had so many, too. He probably studied about all of that. And, so, like I said, that was his form of love bombing. And he would also say, I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Like that, right? So then I eventually said, I love you back to him. Even though my dad told me, he said, don't you ever tell a man you love him. And he never gave me the explanation of why. He just told me not to tell a man that I loved him. So my whole life I never told a man that I loved him. Until I met this narcissist. And the narcissist made me, at the time, think that I fell in love with him. Which I did for a short period of time. Because after I told him I loved him on the phone, he like hung up right in my face. And then I called him back like mad, okay? And I said, why did you hang up on me? You know, I was pretty mad, you know? And he's like, oh, we got disconnected. I don't know what happened to the phone. You hung up on me. I was like, no, I didn't hang up on you. You hung up on me. He's like, no, I didn't. The phone just got disconnected. Which was a complete lie. He did hang up on me. Because he did that after all this stuff went on. He did that many times. So I knew that he's lying. Okay? He did hang up on me for a reason. So the thing is that he found out that I had fell in love with him. And when he found out, this was before 2016, because I met him in 2014 on the internet. And then 2015, I believe it was, is where I told him I loved him. And that's when he hung up on me. And then I called him back, like I told you. And he said that I hung up on him. And I didn't. He hung up on me, but he said that the phone got disconnected or something. And he doesn't know what happened. Which was a lie. He just said it. I don't know why he hung up on me. I guess because he knew. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out still. I guess because he didn't love me. So that's why he hung up. It's kind of confusing, actually. But that's what happened. And so I just said, okay, I believe you. Phone got disconnected, okay. Then I said to myself in my own brain, I will never tell that man I love him again. You know, I would obey my dad instead of disobeying him. And so I never told him I loved him again after that. And then, like, we would continue to talk for like another week. He'd still do his love bombing and future faking, talking about we're going to get a house together and we're going to move in together and we're going to move wherever you want to live at and we're going to buy a house, whatever house you want to buy that we can afford with our money put together and all that. And we're going to get a car and a minivan and stuff like that. and we're gonna adopt children from Russia and stuff like that and live a nice life raising kids. I told him I wanted to be a soccer mom and I had it all planned out. But I didn't know who he exactly was. I didn't know anything about his career. I didn't know anything about any of that. But he acted as if he was rich. And another thing he said to me, he did a backhanded question. And his backhanded question was, why do I always fall for women of lower social class than me? That's what he said. He asked me that question one day, shortly after he hung up on me for saying I love you, you know what I mean? So the next dig he made at me was, why do I always fall for women of lower social class than me? Because his dad was a doctor and he was raised in a rich family, you know? And I got mad about that because that was like calling me poor white trash, you know what I mean? And so I got mad, really mad, and I hung up on him and then called him back and cussed him out. And then, I don't know, I just broke up with him for a little while. And then I got to thinking, I was like, maybe he didn't mean it that way. That's what I was thinking to myself. Maybe he just didn't mean it that way. Maybe he's just, you know, kind of stupid, as in he didn't know what he was saying would offend me. That's what I was thinking. And so I let him get by with that as well. And I thought to myself, well, maybe you just said that because he was raised rich, you know, private schools, big house, mansion, housekeeper, nanny, you know, always having people wait on him hand and foot. So maybe that's why I kind of thought he didn't mean it in a bad way. It just came out that way. But he actually premeditated that, um, to say that, to see if he could get away with it. And he did. Because I didn't know he premeditated it. Because I knew nothing about narcissism. And then after that, basically, like, I called him back. We started talking again. And he would continue his love bombing again. Sugar pie, honey bun, sweet cheeks, baby doll, sweetie feet, which is so sick. A sweetie feet. That's like, I lick your feet. Gross. Okay, so I'm not a fan of feet. But anyways, uh, yeah, so I'm trying to get back on subject here. So time went on. He continued to love bomb me and future fake with me. And I believed him, you know, that he was actually going to, you know, buy a house together and a car and a van and raise some kids and all that. You know, he just lied. And I believed him. I was going out of my way and like looking at different houses and, you know, because there's so many nice houses out there. I was just like, oh, we could live here, we could live there, we could live here, we could live there. But he lived like 400 miles away. And this continued on for 3 years. And then that's just the starting point, too. And we were going to get ready to meet each other. But before that had happened, before we, you know, we're going to eventually try to meet each other. But before that had happened, he had to make some more digs at me. So he asked a question to me one day, and he said, don't you wish you were more sexier than you are? And so basically he was insinuating that I am not sexy. I mean, to ask somebody, don't you wish you were more sexier than you are? That's insinuating that I'm not sexy, right? And you're saying that to the girl you love. So he said he loved me. And he's calling me all these pet names. Sugar pie, honey plum. Sugar pie, honey bun. Sugar feet, sweet feet. Sugar bear. You know, just different names he's calling me. Pet names. You know. And basically, I was just like, okay. And then he asked me at that question, don't you wish you were more sexier than you are? It's kind of weird how somebody can love bomb you like that, calling you all these sweet nookum of a name. So many sweet nookum names. And then turn around and ask you a backhanded question like, don't you wish you were more sexier than you are? My answer to that question was no, I don't wish I was more sexier than I am, because I had my sexy days when I was in my 20s and teens. Okay? So basically, I just hung up on him for that. And then I got over it because I was starting to slowly get angry at him, I guess you would say. Get angrier and angrier. It's like the anger built. And then after that had happened, um, we were supposed to meet each other. So I told him he could stay at this hotel. I was taking pictures of different hotels that he could stay in that were affordable, that we could both afford, decent hotels too. Nice ones with swimming pools that was clean and good neighborhoods and stuff like that, right? Okay, so just decent ones. And nothing really expensive because he wasn't rich. His parents might have been rich, but he wasn't. Or at least he said he wasn't. Because, narcissists lie so much. But he was living with his mother. Well, at least that's what he told me. That he was living with his mother. And he kept telling me to move to his mother's house. And I'm like, no. I'm not moving there. I'm not driving my car 400 miles to live with your mother and you. Why can't you just leave your mother's house and move in with me, or we get a place together or whatever? And he's just like, I don't really want to do that. I want my mom to move with us because she's so rich. But his mother wasn't down with that. She wouldn't do it, okay? His mother had two houses. One in Beaufort, Georgia, which was a big mansion. And then she had another condo in Miami Lakes, Florida, and which is pretty damn expensive too. And I was like, okay, for one, I am definitely not driving to Beaufort, Georgia, because that's a 400-mile drive from where I'm at. And I don't want to live with your mother. I just don't. And so then after that, he had sold that house in Beaufort, Georgia, that mansion, for I think $250,000. At least that's what he told me. It could have been a lie too. And then after that, they purchased a place in Miami Lakes, Florida, which was a condo, a very expensive condo, okay, in a very expensive neighborhood, because I looked through the whole neighborhood on Google Maps. A very expensive neighborhood. But so then I looked at I decided to look his record up, and I found out that he had lived in Miami Lakes for a very long time. Okay. And Beaufort, Georgia, but mainly Miami Lakes for like the longest time. So he lied so much. Then I come to find out that he was on Social Security too, like I am, because I have heart disease and heart failure. But after that, basically, something told me as I was thinking about him, something told me that said he is married. I don't know what it was. It was like it's something inside me told me he was married. So I confronted him and I asked him, I said, are you married? He said, no, I'm not married. But I know he's lying about that too. He's got to be married. Okay. So, yeah. Because if a man really does love a woman, he will leave his house and he will even sell his house, or at least something. Except if he didn't get a job. I mean, This guy I was talking to didn't have a job, so he could easily leave his house, but he wouldn't. Okay. So time had went on. It had been 5 years or something. Maybe 4, maybe 5 years, around there. And we would break up, get back together, break up, get back together, break up, get back together. Finally, I asked him, I said, okay, well, you're telling me all these little pet names, these little sweet cheeks, baby doll, sugar plum, honey bun, sweet feet. I said, okay, you think my feet are pretty, okay. What else do you think is pretty about me? He said, oh, well, I like your eyebrows. I'm like, oh, okay, you like my eyebrows, wow. That's something I'm very insecure about is my eyebrows. I think most girls are actually insecure about their eyebrows because that's when we paint them on, most of us. We like to paint our eyebrows on with like an eyeliner pencil or whatever, make our eyebrows look better. So he's like, I like your eyebrows. I'm like, okay, what else do you like about me? He's like, oh, I like your elbows. I'm like, oh, okay. But you've never even seen my elbows because you never even met me before. I'm like, okay, so what else do you think is pretty about me? He said, that's all. I said, oh, okay. And I was trying to find out, is that really all he thinks is pretty about me? Really? That's all? And so what I did is I sent him a picture of my best friend at the time. She's not my best friend anymore, but she was. And I'm like, well, what about her, my best friend? Do you think she's pretty? And he's like, oh, yeah, she is pretty. I'm like, oh, so what's so pretty about her? He said, oh, well, she's got a nice oval face, and I love girls with oval faces. I said, okay. What else is pretty about her? Well, she's got big blue eyes, and I love girls with big blue eyes. I'm like, okay, what else? Oh, well, I like her lips, because she's got big, full lips. I said, oh, okay, what else? Oh, well, she's got straight, silky hair. I love girls with straight, silky hair. I'm like, oh, okay, what else? He said, well, that's all I can tell right now from the picture. I said, okay, okay. And then I said, then I repeated again to him. I said, what do you think is pretty about me? He said, oh, well, like I said, your eyebrows are pretty. I like your eyebrows. He didn't say my eyebrows are pretty. He said, I like your eyebrows. I like your elbows, and I like your feet. So basically he's telling me them were pretty about me. And I said, that's all? He said, yes. I said, okay. Well, I didn't say that's all. I just said, okay, well, let me send you a picture of my ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend. And so I sent a picture of her. I said, do you think she's pretty? He said, yeah, I like her purple shirt and her blonde hair and her smile. I said, oh, okay. I said, okay, so what do you think is pretty about me? He said, well, I already told you, your eyebrows, your elbows, and your feet. I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So you're insinuating that my face is ugly. And I didn't say that, but that's what it was kind of coming down to. And basically, and I said, okay, so you just like my eyebrows, you just like my elbows, and you just like my feet. I said, okay, that's great, that's great. Now, I want to know, what do you not like about my face? Can you tell me? Because you're insinuating that the rest of my face ain't pretty, only my eyebrows. So I want to know, what's wrong with my face? Can you point out my flaws? And boy, did he. He said, well, you have a round face, and I don't like girls with round faces. I said, okay, what else? He said, your cheeks. I don't like your cheeks, they're just too big. I'm like, oh, okay, what else? He's like, well, your lips are just too thin. I like girls with full lips. I'm like, oh, okay, what else? And he said, oh, and you got curly hair, and I just don't like curly hair. I'm like, ah, okay, okay. So you're telling me straight up that I am full of flaws. My whole face is just one big flaw, and my hair is just one big flaw. I didn't tell him that, but that's what I'm like thinking. I'm like, okay, so in other words, you're just telling me I'm ugly. And then I didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking. I said, okay, well, you think she's pretty and you think I'm not pretty. Alright, well, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Click. So then I hung up on him and waited a little while. I was broke up with him for a while. Maybe a month. We never were together anyways. But, like, after that, I called him back again because I was so lonely and depressed. And I had no one to talk to. So I called him. And, we had, like I told you, we'd cammed up many times on the computer. And, I had danced for him, I had smiled for him, I put makeup on for him, I did all kinds of stuff for him on the computer, because you could see videos, right? And I had flashed him my boobs, too. And, he told me, like, later on, he acted like he liked it on the computer, but then later on he says, I don't like your nipples. I'm like, oh, okay. He said some rude things about my nipples. And basically said my boobs were really ugly. And so, I was like, oh, that's really rude. Like, he's real critical. It's like he knows, like, what I actually would think about myself as a flaw. I never thought my cheeks were a flaw, though. He pointed out my cheeks being a flaw, but I don't think my cheeks are very flawful. I think I got flawless cheeks. I think I got really nice cheeks, you know. I got high cheekbones, and I just love my cheeks. I think I got nice cheekbones. But he didn't like my cheekbones, but hey, he had to say something, right? So, like, he had basically just told me a bunch of things that I was very insecure about myself. And he pointed out all my insecurities. It's like he knew what my insecurities were. Except my cheeks were not one of my insecurities because, hey, I actually like my cheeks, believe it or not. And I like my beautiful green eyes, too. He never even said anything about my eyes being pretty, but he liked my eyebrows, so he said. But I think I got pretty eyes. If the light is shining on my eyes the right way, you can actually see how pretty my eyes are. But, so, basically, um, he just, basically what a narcissist does is, like, they're demonically influenced and they know all of your insecurities. You know, like us normal people, we don't know other people's insecurities. You know, we don't. But narcissists, for some strange reason, know most of your insecurities. Like 90% of them. They don't know all of them, but they know most of them. Okay? So, a narcissist is demonically influenced because how in the world can they know most of your childhood insecurities? Like your 12-year-old insecurities and your 10-year-old insecurities. You know how, like, when you're a 10-year-old, you compare yourself to other people. When you're 12 years old, you compare yourself to other people. You know what I mean? That's just normal for someone going through puberty. You know what I mean? But what you realize is when you get older is everybody's beautiful. All girls are beautiful in their own way. Okay? All girls are beautiful in their own unique way. So you cannot say one girl is like ugly because no girl is ugly. Because all girls are beautiful because we're all unique in our own way, okay? But with the narcissist, it's like they know all of your childhood, like, insecurities, right? So, that's something about a narcissist. They are definitely demonically influenced. And so I later on found out about him that he was the Antichrist. I know it's going to sound weird to you, but I calculated his name in ancient Hebrew, and it equals 666. His name is Rodrigo, Rodrigo. Middle name Alonso, Alonso. and last name Bonfante, Bonfante, and his dad is also named that too, but his dad never had a numerical value after his name, like Rodrigo Alonso Bonfante the first, and Rodrigo Alonso Bonfante the second, and Rodrigo Alonso Bonfante the third, like it is in my family, even though nobody in my family is named Rodrigo. You get it? So you would add the letter 1 after his name, and it equals 666, like the Roman numeral 1 after his name, and it equals 666. But you actually have to calculate it in the ancient Hebrew Aleph Bet. That's how you do it. Okay, so I found out he's the Antichrist. And when I met him, on the phone, he would intrigue me so much. Like, he could read my mind. Like, he knew things about me. Like, the song that I sung while brushing my teeth. Not sung, but hummed it in my head. Or whatever. He knew that song. And I never told anybody. Nobody knew it. Also, he knew some of the dreams that I had dreamt, and told me the dream I dreamt the next day. Another thing is I'd have a song stuck in my head one night when I wasn't talking to him, and I would talk to him the next day, and he would like play the song on the radio or on YouTube so I could hear it. And then I would be like, what in the world? And then he would just start laughing, ah ha 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 ha, ah ha 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 ha, like that. And so this man was a big time liar. All he did was future fake, intrigue me, and then he finally admitted that he was part of the occult. He told me he's a soothsayer and a diviner, whatever they call it, or a magician. You know how the Bible talks about soothsayers and I can't pronounce it, divinators or diviners or something like that. And the people are evil and stuff like that. Well, guess what? That's what Rodrigo was. Soothsayer. We'll just say that. Soothsayer. He called himself a magician, too. Sorry, but magicians don't read minds for real. Magicians are people that actually, play card games and, like, flip the card and say it's going to be a queen or something. And it is, stuff like that. So that's what a magician does. A magician does tricks. Okay? This guy is a big-time narcissist, big-time mind manipulator, and stuff like that. And I'm trying to still figure out the agenda of this particular narcissist. I think he's the Antichrist, and actually, no, he is. And there are many Antichrists, but I actually think he is the one. But this is the question I have to ask you people. What is the agenda of him? What is his agenda? I mean, he done love bombed me. He done wasted my time. He done did all that stuff on the phone for 7 whole long years because I didn't have a boyfriend to hang out with. What is his agenda? Is his agenda to keep me alone by myself and want him and only him and never get him? I don't want him anymore. I find out he's a complete asshole. He done played all them games with me. I know his games. I've done watched narcissistic abuse channels. I know his games. But I always end up going back. Because I get so lonely, I end up calling him, and then he just starts the same shit over and over and over again, Starting his bullshit, pushing me away. Like the push-pull game, you know what I mean? It's like the tug-of-war game. It's like, it was a tug-of-war game. It's like, I need a boyfriend, so I'm gonna pull the rope, But he's like, no, I don't want to be your boyfriend. So I'm gonna pull the rope too. How about we just talk? Like, lay the rope down and just talk. I'm just like, well, that's just wasting my time because I got things in life that I need, Things in life that I want and need. I want somebody to celebrate me, I want somebody to be that loves me truly, shows me he loves me rather than just tell me. I want someone that actually thinks I am beautiful, because I think I can be beautiful at times, I think I got a beautiful personality. Um, so when people get to know my personality, they would probably overlook any flaw that I have and think I'm beautiful, even though I am beautiful with makeup on. At least I think so. Enhances your beauty, makeup does. And I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out like the whole entire agenda of this narcissist. What is his agenda? Like, I keep going back. People say, do not contact the narcissist, so I don't. But then he keeps, like, hoovering me, such as following me around. He spies on me, he stalks me, he hoovers me. I don't miss him anymore. I mean, I do get lonely a lot, but it's like he has made my self-esteem go way down. I'm trying to figure out. Sometimes I feel as if maybe he wants me to kill myself or something. He even told me one time that he wanted to martyr, or he hopes that I get martyred after telling me he was a Christian and everything. He is a fake Christian, so I'm going to have to get a restraining order on this crazy man, because eventually I'm never going to go back to talking to him again. And I just have a feeling that he's going to be the one that tries to kill me. He's a narcopath. He's a narcissist and a psychopath mixed. And the Antichrist, because he's demonically influenced. He's the devil. I mean, as in the Antichrist in man form, because I calculated his name, And, so, I just want to know, you guys, I need somebody that's very, very mindful, somebody that's very, very smart to answer my question. I have searched and searched and searched for the answer to this question. What in the world is the agenda of this particular narcissist? And he is the Antichrist, but if you want to leave that out, you can. But if you're a Christian and you know anything about this, or even if you're not a Christian, and you know what the agenda of this crazy narcopath's agenda, I need to know, what is it? What does he want with me?